I know a lot of us think of Tom Cruise as one of the saviors of cinema, but that doesn't mean he's immune from making a bad movie every now and then. Hello, Flickering Myth family, and welcome to our channel. My name is EJ Marino, and even though my voice is gone, I am still bringing you this public service. I have an announcement to make. Please, everyone, save your time. Do not waste the last 2 hours and 40 minutes like I just did. I saw the new Mission Impossible, so you don't have to. What is there to say about this new Mission Impossible movie other than I am surprised that it is this boring? For 2 hours of this movie, I spent my time begging for something to happen. It's either flashbacks of previous movies, exposition for the last movie that no one really saw, or just boring scenes of our characters planning missions. I know the Mission Impossible movies have forever been, let's plan a mission and let's execute the mission. But for some reason, the planning, the brewing up the scenarios in this movie just felt so tedious, so bland. It is the amount of exposition needing to be dumped at all times. This movie is explaining every little thing to you, and when it's not explaining it to you, it's showing you a flashback from a previous movie, sometimes even retconning characters that you once knew before, and now you're like, but haha, this is their son, and I'm like, oh, lovely. Do I care? Why do I care? This movie is beyond frustrating. And look, I like the Mission Impossible movies. While this may not be my go-to franchise, I often think these movies are fun, thrilling, and executed well. Not this one, though. It is just 2 hours of waiting for this last 40 minutes to blow you away. And while I will say the finale of this movie is quite impressive, I did think there was some interesting things happening. I did think the set piece was pretty cool on the plane. That was all pretty interesting. But I just felt like I spent such a long time to get there. The submarine scene, boring. I'm sorry. I don't know why I was not compelled by it. I think there is the factor that you never really think Ethan Hunt is ever going to be in like actual peril because he's our main character. He has a superhero quality to him that does make these movies a bit harder to get invested in. I often want to feel the drama, the stakes, and while there is side characters dying, we often don't feel that Ethan is in danger. So that whole middle section, him, ooh, is he gonna die? Oh, will he handle the pressure from going all the way back up? And you're like, yeah, he will, because we have to get to the plane. There's just something about this movie that didn't allow me to get fully invested. And again, it's because the movie does spend quite a long time referencing other Mission Impossible movies. I feel bad for the people who just decided to binge all of the movies in a row. This movie says, oh, thank you for binging. I'm still gonna just play you the greatest hits that we've done, so you don't even have to binge. Oh my goodness, this movie is just so poorly directed and poorly edited. I will say Tom Cruise's acting, the whole acting is fine. The set pieces that are crafted are, for the most part, pretty interesting, and I think the plot is there. There needs to be tweaks, especially once we get to the president stuff, and I'm like, I love Angela Bassett. I don't love Angela Bassett in this wig, and I don't love Angela Bassett's storyline. So there is tweaks to the plot that could make it better. I think having an evil AI as a villain is refreshing, is good, it's very current. I get what this movie's trying to do, but it's just executed in a way that ends up being more frustrating than entertaining. If you do not remember the last Mission Impossible movie, don't worry, this movie's going to explain it to you, but the entity is this evil AI figure that is here to corrupt our entire cyber world to the point where it is going to get all of our nukes and not just our nukes, everyone's nukes, and get them ready to start an all-out war. That is a pretty decent, scary villain, but something about this movie, one, the entity has a moment where he's talking to Ethan, and I'm like, creepy, scary. It is a genuinely a well-crafted scene, but then the entity is kind of a gone figure. Esai Morales kind of steps in as the evil figure as he was a bit in the last movie, but I just don't find him as interesting as the AI villain. So I'm like, here's this evil villain that we have gone. We're going to replace him with a somewhat decent actor in a somewhat decent role, but it's just not as interesting as what was set up before. This movie doesn't know what it wants to be. It wants to set up this evil entity thing, but it also wants to go back to the typical Mission Impossible plots that we know, and it feels so stuck in the middle. It feels like there's this part of it that's getting to this weird sci-fi world, this weird otherworldly quality that doesn't feel Mission Impossible. And on the other side, it wants to be realistic and practical, and it really wants to sell you on these things. But I'm like, you just had evil AI like brainwashing people, but now I'm supposed to like be invested in reality. Come on, especially when I'm like, this movie asks us to suspend our disbelief in points, and I'm like, no, I can't do it. I'm sorry. I'm now sucked out of the movie because this just doesn't feel real. It just doesn't feel organic. It doesn't feel like I'm really watching something interesting. So yeah, Ethan Hunt is just trying to find the way to stop this AI. He has a key. He needs to use the key. He got it in the last movie. He's going to open up this big thing and be able to put two pieces together. It's like MacGuffin on top of MacGuffin to put these two things together to stop this, to open up this. It is just so tedious. It's like playing the worst video game you've ever seen. It's just, this movie is so frustrating. I really want you all to save your time. And I know Mission Impossible fans, I know Tom Cruise, he's awesome. He is a good creator in this industry. We all respect him. But oh my goodness, I think if this is the final outing for Tom Cruise and for Mission Impossible, this is one of the weakest notes a franchise can end up on. One of the worst parts of this movie, too, is all of the side characters that are thrust upon us and we're supposed to be invested in. Characters that we've just met or characters that were in the first movie that we're going to bring back now for a small role. It's just like all of these side characters, the ones that we just met in the last movie, like Palm and Esai Morales and Hayley Atwell. All of these characters, I'm like, I don't care. I'm not invested in them. You know, we sidelined Simon Pegg and Ving Rhames to such a point where, I mean, those are fan favorites in this franchise, so we should be keeping them around, putting them in the forefront, and if they're not going to be there, give me more just Ethan Hunt. So we're like trying to push the side characters, and then they'll disappear for a while, have nothing interesting to do while we're focusing on what Ethan's doing, then come back to these characters, but you didn't give me enough time to like them or hate them or have any feelings. We have people turning on the president, and I'm like, so who cares? Like, it's just frustrating because this movie has so many avenues it could take. There's so many good points this movie could go, and it's just like, good, and let's go to the worst possible route we could go. And I'm like, but why? What are you doing? And I know these movies are all about the stunts and the action scenes. There's not a lot of fight scenes. There is not a lot of action stunt stuff. We have the submarine stuff. We have the plane stuff. That is it. And in between that, maybe there's 2 decent fight scenes. For this, again, for a 2-hour and 40-minute movie, I wanted wall-to-wall stunts. I wanted fight scenes. I wanted to be emotionally invested, but not one of those requests ever was just nothing came to fruition for this. You know what it reminds me of? Those later Fast and the Furious movies. Yes, the Mission Impossible movies feel like they've gone full Fast and the Furious. Just stupid, just no emotional attachment, no crazy moments to make us feel like we're watching something larger than life. It wants to be, like this movie wants to be this big spectacular thing, but just doesn't feel like it's executed in a way that matches their hopes and their dreams. Christopher McQuarrie and Tom Cruise wanted this to be the epic final send-off of this franchise, and boy, do they like pat themselves on the back enough throughout the movie. Cool. I'm glad you guys think you guys did a good job, but my goodness, this movie is far from good. It's stretching to a point where I think this movie is genuinely kind of bad. Should you watch Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning? If you're a completionist, I guess watch it. Who knows if this is the last one, but if you're just trying to wrap up this franchise, it could be worse, I guess. No, I'm lying. This is probably the worst outcome for this franchise. This is like, I would go back to Mission Impossible 2 and 3. At least those were fun. At least those kept me engaged. I did not have fun during this movie. There is so many jokes that they throw at you that it almost becomes parody level. Like, it's not funny because I'm like, oh, this is the most cringy, obvious joke you could have made in the scenario. Like, the movie doesn't want to be funny. It tries to be, but it's not going to be funny. The action and the spectacle is not matching what is like teased or what could be there. So none of it comes together to be an interesting experience. It's just Tom Cruise running and hanging on to things. If you like that, that's who could be this. That's who this movie is for. If you're a Tom Cruise diehard and you want to see him in his underwear, if you want to see him hanging from a plane, if you want to see him fight people, I guess this could be for you. But truly, there's not a part of me that could recommend this movie. It is frustrating. It is overly long. It is underdeveloped. It is just so poorly edited. Nothing comes together in this movie to make it feel worthwhile. I've not been this negative in quite some time. Look at that, Mission Impossible. You made me... Look, I could have taken a break, not recorded this. My voice is gone, but you brought something out of me. At least I feel something about this movie. Like, I've seen so many movies this year that... Like, Captain America Brave New World, I hated it, but it didn't make me feel this agitated. It didn't give me the anger that I feel now, because I feel the potential wasted here. I feel Mission Impossible could be better, but it is now giving me late era Fast and the Furious. It is now giving me parody of itself. We've been here too long. What are we doing anymore? Let's just get this over with. And now let's just get this review over with. Thank you guys for tuning into my review. Sorry, my voice has been gone for this one. I promise it will be back very soon. But what did you guys think of this review? What do you guys think of the new Mission Impossible movie? Share your thoughts down in the comments below. Subscribe to Flickering Myth for more videos like this. Give us a thumbs up because YouTube takes those way too seriously. And let's talk about Tom Cruise and Mission Impossible right down below.